Jesus saved me from Christians, the ones that stay forgetting. Before you hold a grudge, you should hold a beer. Before you hold a stone, you should hold a mirror. Been a lonely year, been a COVID year. Y'all stay over there, got some Kobe gear. This ain't Kobe beef, not a S.O.A.R. I don't smoke the reef, it give me anxiety. Say that you ain't racist, you know a black guy. In your Air Jordans, you just got baptized. Man, this whole town, give me bad vibes. And my pronoun is just that guy. Don't be that guy. Am I falling from the sky or falling in your hand? Is it a disguise or is it in your plan? Can you tell me why when I don't understand? Am I at the end or did I just begin? Show me. Show me.
Yeah. Look, I was the one in them classes, youngin' but making it happen. 2 up, 2 down and
Hi, I'm Rosie McCameron.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. We're just working a few kinks out really quickly, so we'll get started in just a few minutes. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We expect to have a full room. We have some individuals coming from work in different places, and so they may join a little bit later, but thank you for those who have come on at the top of the hour. We appreciate it, and we will be getting started shortly.
From watching the throne to being the king, yeah. Came from the bottom, yeah, I paid the price, they couldn't afford it, yeah. I had it built from the ground, I never could let them destroy it, They said that they hard, ain't cover my cough, it's a hole in their story, yeah. I'm living my dream, I gotta thank God and give him the glory, yeah. Came from the bottom, yeah, I paid the price, they couldn't afford it, I had it built from the ground, I never could let them destroy it, They said that they hard, ain't come from my cough, it's a hole in their story, yeah. I'm living my dream, I gotta thank God and give him the glory. Look, y'all OGs not leading the way, I swear they just get in y'all way. I remember when Toe gave the platform and gave me the power, I almost got carried away. It was major when I got a minor verse, if I could be honest, that's back when he gave me the game. All the ones that was hating, they looking like Jordan, cause they just been fading away. I gotta thank God, cause I don't look like what I've been through. VA the folk that I tend to. Know I skate when I give them this new. They know I'm a bad boy. They tryna keep up. They huffing and puffing. We made it from scratch, from nothing to something. I'm loving the person life got me becoming. I got my rib when I'm hitting my prime. I know a lot at stake. Can't hate it or love it. It's not a game. I'm living with Elvis, Selena, Grace. Look, I'm living my dream, so I smile. We went from pennies to proud. Remove all the stains, so I stay with a shout. Get used to the kid, cause I'm sticking around. You did? Came from the bottom, yeah. I paid the price. They couldn't afford it, yeah. I had it built from the ground, I never could let them destroy it, They said that they hard, ain't cover my cough, it's a hole in their story, yeah. I'm living my dream, I gotta thank God and the glory, yeah. Came from the bottom, yeah, I paid the price, they couldn't afford it, I had it built from the ground, I never could let them destroy it, They said that they hard, ain't cover my cough, it's a hole in their story, yeah. I'm living my dream, I gotta thank God and give him the glory.
Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope you're doing good on this Monday of liquid sunshine all day. Hope you had an amazing day. My name is Tiana Garner, and I will be hosting this evening's networking event. So I'm super excited to see each and every one of you here. So glad you can join and take a moment to be with us today. So we're going to get started. Thank you for your patience. Had a few technical difficulties, specifically me. We're going to get started. We're excited about today's engagement and event, networking event, and we're talking about community and family engagement. We have a very special guest. This is actually our second time having this event. The first time it was such a hit, we decided to bring it back, the topic, and it's just fitting for the occasion as we're coming into a new school year with our kids, and just looking to share some information with you and guide you into some great tips that you can possibly use with your kids or someone you know, So please share this information once you receive it. Again, I'll be your host tonight. My name is Tiana Garner. I am the HR Director and Administrator for S.O.A.R, Hospitality and Travel. I've been a part of S.O.A.R from the beginning, 2013. And it's truly been a great journey for me, working with a great group of people on our S.O.A.R board, our executive board. And I'm just excited to be a part of this and to host this event and be a help even more. So we're not going to waste too much time. We're going to go into who we are, who is S.O.A.R, right? You've probably seen us on many platforms, social media platforms, in introducing ourselves. We've had lots of engagement going on for the kids, the students, trying to, stay involved with our youth. That's what we do. We are here to empower our youth. And so any opportunity that we get to do that, we like to share with our parents, with our community, and just introduce you and invite you to what we have going on. So we're going to share our mission. It's a video of S.O.A.R, and so that those of you who may not be aware, or maybe you're aware and just want to see the video again, we're going to share that right now to introduce S.O.A.R.
Hi, I'm Rosie McCamry, and I am the founder and CEO of S.O.A.R. Our mission is to empower inner city youth to become future change agents, excelling in their academics while leading the charge in the fields of hospitality, travel, business, and entrepreneurship. Simply put, our goal is to encourage our youth to improve their self-esteem, strengthen their leadership abilities and qualities, develop their business etiquette, foster independent thinking, and create opportunities that can transcend into any business or entrepreneurial career path desired. Honored that you have chosen to take this opportunity to learn more about our organization and our amazing team of leaders, entrepreneurs, educators, and subject matter experts in their respective fields. Sit back, relax, and engage with us. But most importantly, we encourage you to see the vision, plant the seed, and help us empower our youth of today to become the leaders of tomorrow.
My name is Ella. I'm used to.
All right, so that was S.O.A.R. As you see, we are very much involved with our youth. This this organization, came together by our founder and CEO, Rosie McCamery, along with our COO, Andre Blassingame, who she had a heart for the youth from young, and she also experienced doing a lot of these beautiful things that she's doing now with our youth. She was in a high school where we were in a high school where we had a travel and tourism plan and engagement, and we had she was exposed to opportunities that and she was afforded opportunities to be able to see the world. And so in her way of giving back, she placed this was placed on her heart to work with the youth, to be able to give opportunities back to our youth, support our inner city youth, just help them to be change agents in the world. You know, sometimes we're not afforded to do things in a way that others are, you know, to be able to travel or maybe even, you know, have different activities and such, just the way life can be. But our group S.O.A.R, our organization S.O.A.R, is here for our youth, to empower them, to let them know that, you know, you can do all those things that you want to do. You just have to, you know, be in the right space, and someone's got to take that time, right? So S.O.A.R is put in place to be able to take that time with our youth, to be able to show them, lead them, guide them, help them along the way, give them opportunities that maybe they weren't able to get a chance to do. And so we've done it in many different ways. We've had several events that we host. We have a major, we have a, excuse me, I'm nervous, y'all. We have plenty of events that we've hosted. We've had fashion shows. We've had different events out of the country. We recently traveled to Jamaica for an internship. We took some students with us on an internship, and it was an amazing experience. It was actually my first time going away to an international country, so I very much enjoyed it. But we got to work with our youth. They got experience and exposure to a different country, to just different lifestyle, and just got some experience doing that. So we're very excited to work with our youth. We're very empowered to help them as much as we can. And so this is just another event that we are hosting to give back to the community. We've arranged quarterly engagements, networking events that we can engage with our community and just provide insight and helpful tips and such that we have to share and, you know, help someone else in need. So without further ado, I'm super excited about introducing our guest speaker. She is a very close friend of the family, of the S.O.A.R family. She's the best friend of our CEO and founder. And I'm super excited to work with her again. Like I said, we had this engagement before. And so just going to give a little bit of an introduction to her. We'd like to welcome Dery Rodriguez. She's a highly experienced family engagement specialist with over 10 years of experience in education and community development. Her expertise lies in creating and implementing programs that support family engagement, parental involvement, and student success. Currently, Dery serves as an advisor and project manager at the New York City Department of Education, where she works closely with parents, teachers, and community partners to build a sense of community within the district. Dery's innovative programs and initiatives have been instrumental in promoting family engagement and improving student outcomes. In addition to her work in education, Dery is a consultant and co-founder of 2 youth organizations, as well as a frequent speaker at workshops and conferences on topics related to family engagement, parental involvement, and community building. Her expertise and insights have been shared with a wide range of audiences at national conferences. Dery is also a board of directors of the Omega Phi Beta Foundation, which promotes STEM education and community development for women. She is deeply committed to equitable education, empowering family voice, and improving the lives of children and families through her work. Dery is known for her warm, approachable manner and her ability to connect with families from all backgrounds. I have the pleasure of knowing Dery through our CEO, and she is a wonderful, beautiful woman. She's hosted a few of our events, so she is very dynamic, and speaking as a gift for her. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce her, have her come on and give her the stage.
Oh my goodness, Tiana, I feel so honored. Like that was such a great introduction. I was like, wow, but I'm super excited. I'm super hyped. I see Rosie on my feed, and I see Chastity, and I see so many familiar faces. This is family to me. And I'm excited just to have this conversation, and let's call it out. Let's talk family and community engagement. I love this topic because it's really dear to me. I'll share a little bit about my background. I am first generation. I'm an American Dominican. So shout out, because it is Hispanic Heritage Month. So if you are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, I celebrate you and we celebrate together as a family. Both my parents came here from the Dominican Republic when they were teenagers, and then they had us. So they had us very young, in their teens, 19. They were married, I believe, when they were 19 years old as well. And then a couple of months later, boom, they had me and my twin sister, Josephine Rodriguez, who's also in education as a school counselor. This work is very personal for me as a family engagement expert, and just to really communicate, and just to be the voice to say that parent voices are so important in education, that sometimes we forget, or parents don't know how important their voice is to their children's education, that you are an equal ally. So with that, I'm going to share my slides to get us started with this conversation. But just to finish this last sentence is that because my parents didn't feel involved, I always felt alone in my education. So that's why I'm passionate about speaking to parents, about speaking to anyone, students, to let them know that their education is so important, and parents' voice in advocating for their children's education is important. So with that, let's get the conversation started. I would like for you guys to put in the chat where you come from. Like, what is your background? Are you a parent? Are you an educator? Well, actually, parents are educators. So are you working at the school? So tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're coming from. And then I would love to kind of see in the chat exactly if you are a teacher, are you working at the school level, or are you here because you need some tips and strategy as a parent to get those, to start off the school right, to start off the school year right. So let's see. Let me see the chat. All right, so let's chat. I see the chat. I know you guys are out there, and I would like to do something else. If you can turn on your camera as well, it helps, because I want us to have like an engaging conversation. So I don't want today to feel like more like I'm talking at you, but let's talk together, because I believe that you are the experts in this room. I'm just guiding the conversation. So feel free, turn on your cameras, because I want to see your lovely faces. I see Isabel's on the line. I see Chastity's on the line. And yeah, so we can get started. So I see Maggie. She said, hi, everyone. I'm just here to learn more about S.O.A.R. Absolutely. And shout out to S.O.A.R, because S.O.A.R is creating pathways to actually help students to think about their future and their career. And you know what? Parents, as we talk about parent engagement, you are here to be their cheerleader. So this is part of the conversation, is that each and every one of you are your children's biggest advocate, your cheerleader. So part of this conversation is to continue to, how do we take what we know and really encourage parent engagement throughout the year. All right, so let's get through the slides. So my first slide, next slide, please. Which of the following terms best represents the language you use when describing your goal for family engagement? So as you're looking at these words, which word is kind of sticking out for you when you think about family engagement? Let's see. And please feel free to put it in the chat. I also would love for you guys to unmute yourself. I want to hear voices. So what are some of the things that the language, when you hear the word or you want to describe family engagement, what are some of the words that come out to you? Teamwork. Awesome. All right. What else?
I was going to say partnership. I think all of the above here. I would agree with every one of these.
I love that. So all of them. Okay. Anybody else? Thanks, Rosie, for that.
Yes, I would say all of them as well.
Oh, okay. There's no wrong answer. So we're saying all. We got team all. We have teamwork. Anything else? Anyone who wants to unmute and just share?
We have a comment in the chat, attentiveness from Latoya.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a great word. Awesome. Okay, so basically everything you guys mentioned is correct. When you're thinking about family engagement, you're describing it, it could be all of the above, but nationally, family engagement is known as a national strategy, is research-based, and a lot of the families, recent studies and recent data said that what they think about when it's the term family engagement, they think about teamwork. So teamwork is the new way that family engagement is starting to sort of develop, right? Because sometimes family engagement could feel one-sided, or sometimes family engagement could feel like a stigma, like, oh, I'm at home and I can't go to the school because I have so many different, responsibilities and tasks. We're busy. But when we think about family engagement, we can think about teamwork. Who's on the team to ensure that that child is getting what they need to succeed? So when we think about family engagement, is that home and school partnership. So it's all about teamwork. So in the chat, let me hear you say teamwork, or feel free to unmute. And it's all
Teamwork.
about, I love it. And teamwork comes with collaboration, partnership, trust. It's all big. And I believe that in order for you to have teamwork, you have to build relationship. And when you build relationship, authentic relationship, you have to have trust. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Okay, I would like to I think we have some prizes here. There's a question here, because this is the beginning of the school year. And as we start the beginning of the school year, we wanna talk about some belief that we believe when it comes to children's reading level and math level. So in the chat, I want you guys to tell me, this is a poll that came, they looked at reading levels and math level nationwide, okay? So this is not New York City, this is nation. In the chat, I want you guys to tell me what percentage of parents believe their child is at or above grade level in reading and in math. Is it A, 65%, B, 39%, C, 92%, or D, 25%? Give you guys a few seconds. I'm seeing it right now. Some folks are getting it correctly already. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, the answer is 92% of families believe their child is at or above grade level. But the reality is that is 37% of students nationally perform at or above grade level work. And 59% says, 59% of teachers report most of their students come prepared for grade level work, the beginning of the school year. So let's talk about that. What do you guys think about this data? Unmute yourself. Let's chat. You are the experts, not me. I'm just leading the conversation. So tell me, when you see this right away, you see 92%, but the reality is 37% of students are above grade level or under grade level work.
Hi.
So
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Go
oh,
ahead.
no, go ahead, Adrian.
Good evening, everyone. I believe this is the case because the systems that were put in place to compromise the lack of learning during COVID, and if we're honest, a lot of parents did not take the responsibility that they needed to take to invest in their kids, and a lot of them had difficulty because they didn't really know how to help their kids during that time. So as a teacher, I was told I could never give a kid a lower grade than what they earn. Most kids didn't show up. They didn't do what they needed to do, but they still passed. So parents got a false sense of that, false sense thinking that their kids were doing well when in fact they weren't.
Okay, so I want to address a couple of things you mentioned. Parents were not supposed to do what they weren't, right? So I want to reframe that, because I believe that every parent, because 92% is not saying that the parents were naive, is that how many of you guys are parents on the chat? How many?
I'm a parent.
You're a parent, right? So when you think about your child, you think what?
That he can learn.
Exactly.
Right. That's exactly what I was going to say too.
Exactly.
Dery.
So you have this perception that your child, which is great, right? Even God created his children in his image. So there is already a plan and a purpose. Your children are amazing. They're great. So it's not the fact that the parents were not equipped or they didn't care, which I'm not saying you said, but it's because we have already these high expectations. But the reality is that sometimes in the classroom, children may be at different levels of how they're learning, right? So as parents, the first tip that I'm going to give you is, how do you advocate for your child? How do you know what's happening in the classroom so that you can continue the support at home? And there's many different ways that we can do this. And then you guys already have the answer, so I won't even say, because there's things that are already happening at home that you are supporting your child. And yes, COVID had a lot to do with it, so that, right now there's the DOE, if you are a New York City, our new term is New York City Public School parent, is that we have this huge campaign. It's called NYC Reads. And that's how we're changing the way kids are reading right now. So reading and literacy is so huge, because our children are not even reading at reading level. And that's not to shame parents at home, it's to just bring awareness. So this slide is to really show awareness that the first thing that we can do together as a community, because family engagement is not only at home, but it's home, school, and community partnerships. So shout out to S.O.A.R, because as a CBO, we're having these conversations, right? How can we support our children together like a tribe? And that's first is understanding that the best way to support your child is to understand what's happening at school, is bringing awareness, and to then think about ways that you can bring the learning at home. So next slide, please. So family engagement, we kind of already defined it, but I wanted to kind of show this. When we talk about family engagement, a lot of times how we used to define it is that homeschool partnership, family engagement. Sometimes folks describe it as, being a part of the governance structure, which I'll talk a little bit about in a few seconds. But family engagement is a full, equal, and equitable partnerships amongst families, educators, community partners to what? I want you guys to kind of unmute yourself and read that for me. To promote
children's learning and development from birth through college and career.
Okay. Does this mean that we stop family engagement at high school?
No.
Does it stop at middle school?
No.
Does it stop at college?
No.
So
it's when it gets worse.
It's ongoing. So what we are seeing, and those for my educators and teachers on the line, that normally what we start seeing is that families, the parents start to sort of rely more on the school and the upper grades, the middle or the high. But reality is middle and high is when we need you the most. You know, it's when it's that crucial. We start seeing in middle school, and it's sad to say that in middle school is when it's that child's probably last year of graduation, where they will ever see a graduation ceremony.
Wow.
Because high school, and it's a fact, it's the last time a child will actually participate in a graduation ceremony. So I want you guys to think about that a little bit more. And it's not because, and again, we are our children's learning hero, right? You are your children's learning hero. Is that the fact is, like me, I'm gonna speak for myself. When I was growing up, my parents didn't know how to advocate for the education, because in their country, the school, the educators were sort of like in a hierarchy. They were the top, and they were like the lower class, right? Because they were farmers. They grew up in what we call it the campo, and they didn't have themselves those education background. But what my mom and my dad didn't know, if they were aware of what was happening in the classroom, if they were aware how to fight for and advocate for, you know what, my child deserves to be in a regular gen ed class, because I spoke Spanish, they put me and my sisters in special ed. And then what we learned later on, we were supposed to be in special ed. But great testimony. Now I'm here, and you know, God had a plan for me to really help families to understand how to advocate for their child. But all that to say is that the first thing is really understanding how do you become equal and equitable partners to educators, knowing today that you have the right to speak, to ask questions, to know, you know, we're going to talk about beyond the report card, beyond the grade, because it's beyond that, right? It's having a healthy education journey, right? Again, S.O.A.R is all about promoting excellence, promoting children's like passion when it comes to their career path, but we can do that at home. Next slide, please. So when this slide is talking a little bit about unlocking the how, like how effective family engagement is, and we talked about in the beginning, trust. So I want to show you sort of like the infrastructure or the framework that schools look at now. So this is now, right? And back in the days when I was in school, we didn't have parent coordinators. We didn't have liaisons who are welcoming parents into the building. Parents didn't feel welcome in the building, but that's not the case anymore. Nationally, we're looking at family engagement as part of the curriculum, as part of the school culture. And the first place is trust. You know, how are schools building trust and teamwork as a center of that homeschool partnership? So what I would love for you guys to do is I want you to challenge your educators and just kind of share, hey, I was in this workshop and what I learned is about that we're a team, right? We're a team. And how can I be a part of this team? And the second is how are we centering family engagement to learning, right? What are some tips and tools that you as parents would like to see at home? I had a conversation with my best friend earlier, and I would love for her to kind of unmute and just share a little bit what we shared about her being a parent and an educator in these spaces. And how it changed for her views, and like now being the parent that receives those kind of tips. And like, I know that we send, hey, can you do these with your children? Okay, can you come to an event? And how much that may feel overwhelming as parents, especially when we have so much that's going on. And the last, I want to talk about the infrastructure in the building at schools. I don't know if you guys are coming, if you're from New York City DOE schools, I want to see you in the chat. If you're from a different, I would love to hear from you. So guys, unmute yourself. Let me know if you're coming from New York City public schools, or are you from New Jersey or another city?
New Jersey public schools.
Love it. And DOE, New York City, New Jersey. Okay. Where else we're coming from?
Currently New Jersey. I taught though in New York for 22 years. So I'm new to New Jersey. So there is a difference.
Okay, so New Jersey. So New Jersey and New York City Public School, and I believe I'm live on Facebook, so hi everybody on Facebook. So in New York City, the structure that we have, New York City, especially with our chancellor and our mayor, we strongly believe that parents are our allies, our parents are our partners in this work, and that there's so many ways to be involved. So the infrastructure at the school level is that there is a PA and PTA. So there's a governance structure where if you would like to volunteer, you can become a part of the decision-making of the school by being a part of the PTA. There's also SLT, which is the school leadership team. And in that space, again, parents' voice is so important to make decisions regarding the curriculum, the social and emotional wellness, and just how the school is run. So family engagement, that partnership, that teamwork is critical for student engagement, for student academic success. In New Jersey, I do believe there's a PTA structure. So help me, my New Jersey families, to kind of give me a thumbs up if that happens in New Jersey, that PAs and PTAs are a part of the school systems. Parents are a part of those decision makings. Thumbs up. You can put your virtual. Okay, great. So also in New York City, we have what's called parent coordinators. So shout out to my parent coordinators. If you're here on the line or watching on Facebook, parent coordinators are what we call our trusted messengers and the heart of the school, because they're the liaisons that help parents and schools work together and ensure that communication is ongoing and have those great opportunities to be involved at the school level. So again, I wanted to share sort of like the structure of family engagement so that when you go back tomorrow, hopefully, you'll talk to the principal or the teachers and like, hey, I just got off this wonderful presentation on how to become a true partner in this work to ensure that my child or all children are succeeding. All right, next slide, please. Okay, so we talked about the tips and the resources and why family engagement matters. I would like to share with you guys sort of a landing page. It was co-created by Learning Heroes. So a lot of the information that we're learning today is a wonderful partners that I worked with. Learning Heroes. If Rosie and anyone from S.O.A.R can put it on the chat, is learningheroes.com. Please check out their page. Everything you want to know, how to partner, data, recent data. They're actually doing data right now. If you are an educator, if you want to get those tips and those new data that you want to share with families, is a perfect place to get it. If you're a parent and you want to know more, like sort of like a roadmap on how to partner, we're going to talk about that now. Because I'm excited, because you know what? It's the beginning of the school year and it's all about building that relationship. So let's talk about that roadmap. So next slide. All right, so 5 ideas for a strong school year. Can I get a volunteer and read the first roadmap, like the first one, how we can begin the school year strong? Somebody read that for me?
Which part? I'm sorry, which part did you want us to read, Dery?
Rule number 1, know your voice is needed.
Know your voice. Okay. Ooh, it's tiny. Okay, hold on.
Tiny. That's what it is.
All right. Parents want the truth and a clear picture about how their child is progressing. Share what you've noticed about their learning and don't be afraid to ask questions, even if you have to ask a few times. Let your child's teacher know the best way to reach you and set a plan to be in regular touch throughout the year, not just at conferences.
Okay, here we go. The best way, tip number 1 is knowing your voice is needed. So I want you guys to look in the mirror or wherever you're at and just say, my voice is needed.
My voice is needed.
Woo! Can I hear that one more time? My voice is needed.
My voice is needed.
My voice is needed.
That's right. Your voice is needed. So the first thing is knowing, right? Believing that your voice is needed as part of the team, right? To support child's education success. So asking questions, not only at parent-teacher conference, but starting off the year. Make sure that you know how to contact your teacher. I know a lot of teachers are using a messenger board or WhatsApp or portals. have that time with your teacher that they know how to reach you and know and give them and tell them a little bit about. I love this thing. It's called the story of self. Tell the story of us. Tell the story of your child. Tell the story of you, like the story of what makes your family unique, because you guys are all special. So always know that your voice is needed. Number 2 is get a gut check on progress. So always know, like there's systems. I know that in New York, we have a system that parents can log on and look at progress. So that's the place where find out in your school community, where can you go to check on progress? So we call it get a gut check on progress. So what is your gut feeling? It's telling you about attendance, about academic. So you should know. And then 3, team up on a simple plan. And then the last 2 is learn into how your child is feeling. I wish my sister could present maybe once, but she's really big on SEL and having that social and emotional check. How is your child feeling? How many of us sometimes go to work feeling sad? Raise your hands if you feel like that. How many of you felt
Not anymore.
Jealous, Rosie, I'm jealous. So sometimes, how many of you guys sometimes feel like you're happy, you're excited to be at work? Oh my God, I'm at work. And sometimes, how many of you guys sometimes feel foggy or you just don't want to be there? So imagine how we feel, right? Now, think about a child when they're having a bad day. If we can't come to work our best self, think about when a child is having a bad day. How are they learning? So always think about having those conversations, like how is my child feeling? Ask those questions. Communication at home is so critical, not only to talk about the academic, but the feeling part of it. So having those like one-on-one chats is so cool. I always see Rosie and Lanaya having those chats and Chastity and Melodies, but having that, how you doing? How you feeling? That's really important as well. And then remember, you are a learning hero. So I love the fact that Learning Heroes coined this. You are your child's learning hero. You are a hero. And when the kids talk about those heroes in the cartoons, I don't even know what heroes is out there right now, but they speak highly of the heroes. They're speaking highly of you too. You are your child's learning hero. Next slide. And I'm not going to go through this, but I think Isabel, she added the Learning Hero website. There is a Dear Teacher letter that you can actually start. It's online, so you can actually do a Dear Teacher letter, and it actually tells you your name of the teacher, my child's name. So you get to write a letter, and it's already template. You can populate the answers, the response online, and then you can email it to your teacher, or you can download it and hand it over. So this is really cool, so that you can introduce your family and your child to your teacher, your child's dislike, your child's habits, your child's interests. What do you see at home that your child is struggling? Or what are some of the strengths, right? Because you know your child better than anybody. I know Rosie, she will go on a plane and rescue her child. I don't even know how she's going to find that plane, but she's going to find it. Because, you are your child's advocate. You are your child's learning hero. You are your child's everything. So this right here template, all you have to do, you go on the Learning Hero website. It's called Dear Teacher. I love it. I've done this with all the families from every different gender, background, ethnicity, and we all find this so helpful. When that teacher gets that Dear Teacher letter, they're excited, right? So on the Learning Hero website, you can download it. And my assignment to you all is to do this with your child. Don't guess. You're gonna sit down, maybe before dinner or after, and have this conversation. Do the Dear letter together. Remember, it's all about teamwork. Next slide, please. So again,
sorry.
This is kind of tells you a little bit about the Dear Teacher letter. I just wanted to show it to you guys a little bit better. My child is doing well. My child needs help with. So this is kind of the things that you guys want to share. Actually, let's do how much Where are we on time? Thumbs up if you guys are doing well. Thumbs up.
Good.
I want to do this activity with you guys. I would like to hear your voices. Okay, can I get a volunteer to tell me a little bit my child is doing well in? Because this is your chance to spotlight your child. Show and tell. Show me and tell me about the wonderful things your child is doing. I want to hear it.
My child is doing very well in language arts.
Awesome.
Scored very well. He scored very well for their readiness tests. After the summer, he was very happy with his score, and we've been talking about it all weekend.
That's wonderful. Can you tell me the next thing my child needs help with?
My child needs help with organization. He will get a paper that's supposed to come home. Maybe they want him to complete something or me to fill something out. Instead of putting it in the folder that he has, he just shoves it in the bag. And then, now he can't find it, so he needs help with organization. And my child is excited to learn he likes his science class this year. They've done 2 experiments, and he's excited about the math class. And changes I've noticed in my child that are important for you to know include, my child likes to talk. He likes to socialize, so sometimes he needs to be redirected.
Wow. I love this. Can we use this during parent-teacher conference? Because I learned a lot about your child. I learned a lot, and I appreciate it. You was honest with me. You said your child needs support with organization, right? Yes. And you recognize that. So already you are celebrating your child. You're saying what your child is doing well, and then you're recognizing what your child needs help with, and then you're also saying to me, and what I've heard is that we're working on that at home, right?
Yes.
So it's not only in the classroom, but we're doing this at home as well. So yes. Shout out. I love it. Okay, so parent-teacher conferences are coming up. Raise your hands if you feel like this tool is helpful for you to start having conversations and building trust and remember that teamwork strategy where it's not about a one side of you, but it's about a team. So raise your hands if you feel like this tool is helpful. Okay, I see some hands going up.
I don't know how to do that.
Who's going to use the tool?
We all are.
Woo! All right, guys. So next slide, please. And I think we're going to be done. Next slide. So I always love to show this video because shout out to the dads. Shout out to the dads. Because sometimes, and this is again, everything I've shared is very research-based. There's a stigma that when dads walk into that school building, what happens with that is that sometimes they're not looked at as the primary caregiver, or they're not looked at as a valuable asset. But that is not true. Dads, we need you. We need your voice. We need you in the school. Research is showing that when there's a male figure in the building, there's so many great things that are happening. Higher attendance. I want to say everything high. I won't go through the whole thing, but there's a whole correlation that children succeed when there's male engagement in the building, and you are welcome in the building. So I want to show you really quickly, because sometimes, Mom, I hear it all the time, that you guys feel like you are overwhelmed because you are seen as the primary caregiver, but it's all about what a team. So here's this dad, which I love this dad, he's amazing, who is going to talk to the teacher and is kind of putting everything together. So let's just see a little bit about this engagement and how dad is building a relationship with the teacher. And we can press play.
Hi, I'm James, and my wife Kimberly and I have 3 wonderful boys, Jaden, Jordan, and Justin. The most important part of my life is being there with my kids. I know as a father that learning starts at home.
It's squished into juice. Hey, is that how we get grape juice?
Yeah.
it is very important for me to be there for my child's education. So I like to communicate with my child's teachers to let them know that, hey, we're a team. Hey, Miss Man, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
And I want to be involved. I like to connect with my kids' teachers the first week of school, but it's never too late to do so. When I communicate with my kids' teachers, I also keep in mind that they're very busy. So I keep the messages very short and sweet. And I like to ask them, what is it that my kids are learning this year? What are the expectations? How do we know that they're actually achieving what you need them to achieve? What can I do to help my child? The goal for my child is to learn, and together with the teacher, I know we can fulfill that. Sometimes we need to practice their words or their numbers, especially multiplication. So we'll take it to the rooftop and we'll grab some chalk and we'll draw out the numbers. It's a cool way to reinforce the lessons that the kids have in school and have some fun with your child. I like to check in every couple weeks.
Because you moved up 2 reading levels this time.
Nice. Or whenever I see that my child is not learning what I think he's supposed to learn for that week. I also know that it's impossible for me to know all the answers. By building a solid relationship with the teacher, my child knows that I care, and so does the teacher. And that's a win for all of us.
Perfect job. Give me 5.
Give me 5.
All right, let's go.
All right. So what are some of the things that you saw in this video that gave you a aha moment? What are some of the things that you saw in the video that you felt like you want to talk about at this moment?
I like the idea that he asked, what were they going to learn and how were they going to make sure that they got from point A to point B, so that he would be, kind of on the same page, because a lot of times they send home a syllabus, but you don't know, they change up, they do different things, they use a different book, they're not following through. But I liked his strategy. How do you expect to get to this point? And how will you know that the child met the goal?
Great. I love that. Anything else?
Yeah, I agree, because, with my daughter, she's in 3rd grade, and she's very engaged in her classes, right? She's very engaged in her learning experience, and as am I, and as is my husband. But I'm, I tend to be, as you guys know, a little bit more proactive in my approach, right? So I'm quick to reach out to the teacher day one, like, hey, I'm Mom, good to meet you. What's on the agenda for the school year? Like, what are we doing? And the exact same thing that he did is similar to what I did. Maybe not the exact approach, but in terms of wanting to get the information that I needed to then understand where we fit as parents, right? To make sure that we're, emphasizing or re-emphasizing what's being taught in school. When they come home, they're learning that as well, right? And we want to make sure that we're showing like that united front with the teachers, so that we're not doing something different than what the teachers are doing, and then we confuse the kids. So, explaining that to the teacher, we're on your side. And letting them know that, because I think that's important too, because of the stigma of parent, especially nowadays with the parents, there's this thing where, the parents are very much more aggressive towards the educators. And they will believe their kids over the educators, even if the kids are wrong or whatever. And then there are times where, vice versa. But I wanted the teacher to know, as far as I was concerned, and as far as my husband's concerned, that we are there to support them until, until otherwise, but that we're here to support them. And so I think that was a great approach for him. Sorry, that was a long way of saying I totally agree with his approach. And I had one similar to it.
Thank you, Rosie. Anyone else saw something that, as far as he did something to bring the learning at home in his own way? What did you guys see about his interaction with his son, teaching him some academic techniques?
He made it fun. He brought it to the kids level. They went and did it on the rooftop. They did the little cards, right? The index cards. And so bringing it to their level, to where it's fun for them and it's not overwhelming.
Thank you, Rosie. That's exactly what I wanted to point out, because learning could be, you can do so many, there's so many ways and approaches that you can bring learning, by simple walks and counting the sidewalks. There's so many things, like I spy 5 cars, right? So I do this. So finding ways to make learning fun and being creative. So I want to ask you guys really quickly, what are some of the ways that you are supporting learning at home? Because I know everyone is doing it in their own way, and there's no right or wrong way. There is just there's your way. So what are some of the ways that you guys are supporting learning at home?
I've tried to ask my daughter when she gets in, how school was, just finding out about her day, and then asking her, about her homework, if she needs help, and thankfully the school provides tools that we can also, portals and such that we can also review. They send emails, updates of, assignments and such. So it helps me to stay involved with what she's doing, and if she's having any difficulty. She's in high school now, so that in itself is a new experience, and then to add homework and things like that. So just making sure there's a balance by just staying involved and just asking questions.
Thank you for that tip. See, we're learning tips from each other. We're learning tips from the presentation, because everyone in here has a tool or has a strategy to support learning at home. That's what I really wanted to emphasize today, is that it's all about teamwork, building trust at home and at the school level. But you are your child's learning hero. You are your child's first teacher, and and remember about the voice. Your voice is needed. So my last slide, it's sort of the last slide to say goodbye, but also to share a little bit about what are some of the things you walked away with. So next slide. Oh, actually, we're not going to do this. I'm going to actually end the presentation and just ask you all really quickly, how are you feeling about teaming with your child's teacher this school year? After learning so many different ways, how are you feeling about teaming with your child's teacher this school year?
Excited.
Confident.
Excited. Yes.
Yeah,
Excited.
confident.
Come on, I want to hear it in the chat. I want to see the chat blow up. If there's I believe Facebook Live is on. I'm not sure if everyone is interacting, but how are you feeling after this presentation? Are you guys ready to team up?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't feel your energy. Are you ready to team up?
Yes.
All right.
Motivated. Yes.
Feel
Encouraged.
motivated. I encourage. I love it. So that's it for today. You can ask me questions if you like, anything that you feel like you want to share with the team, and anything that came up that you feel like, I just want to share this, or I have a question. I'm going to turn it off to you guys to ask some questions.
So I didn't have a question, but I did have an experience that I wanted to share based on something you had mentioned earlier today about how our children, that we are, their first educators, so to speak, right? So we are, like, they look to us, for that guidance and stuff, even prior to going to school, like they look to the parents, right? So we become their first educators, and they also look to us for that comfort, right? You mentioned earlier how I fly a plane if I had to, become somebody's pilot if I needed to, just to, hijack somebody's plane to get to my child, if I knew that she was in distress or, duress or whatever. And so, a situation did happen last school year, and it happened to her in school. She I got a call from the school, just without going through details, because I don't want to take up too much time, but got a call from the school. And immediately I went into mom mode. I literally was about an hour and a half away on military duty, and I was like, I gotta go. And of course, you know, my commander, and I actually work with pilots, and they were all like, yeah, go. And so I literally got to the school in probably about an hour. And you know, I spoke with the principal. They were very apologetic about the situation, you know, and it was the moment though, so you know, everything we got everything situated, everything was settled. It had to do with another student, one of my daughter's peers, and my daughter, who she had been having some issues with, and they reassured myself and my husband that it had been taken care of. And I'm, you know, I trust them because they are very, you know, upfront and forward with us, and just really, really kind to my daughter. So you know, we didn't have a reason to not trust what they were saying. But so I was comforted in that. But I think the turning point for me in realizing that I mattered to my daughter so much more was when she saw me. So she didn't know I was there, and she was in the principal's office, and they told her to wait there. She didn't know why. I'd come early for her and everything. And when I came around the corner, and mind you, I was in full gear, full uniform, walking around the corner with the principal. When I came around the corner, I literally was in tears because my daughter's face, she, you know, she was already just heartbroken from the situation. And when she saw mommy though, her face lit up, and you couldn't tell her anything. She was like, mommy, I know you were coming, and I knew you were going to come and get me because I knew they were going to call. And I said, oh, my mommy's coming and you don't want her to come. So it just really, it touched me, but it also was just like, oh my gosh, like we really do, you know, we are really, there's a huge weight, I think, and not a bad weight, but like that you know, weight on us as parents to do the right thing, and to be there for our kids, and to show them that we support them and that we love them. And just to see her face and to see her expression, and she literally, you know, it just lit up, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like I'm you know, all is well with the world. And even just talking about it, sometimes it just makes me emotional, and you know, but yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I wanted to thank you for sharing that, and just emphasizing the importance of, you know, parental engagement with the kids, with the community, with the you know, with the schools. It's important. It really, really is, and it makes a difference in the child's life.
Thanks, Rosie, for sharing that. And you're absolutely right. I don't know how many times when I worked in the school, when like that, when a parent walked in, it's scary, but it's also reassuring that my parent has my back. But with that, I think we're out of time. And I know Isabel, she's here too. She's a former PA.
Actually have until 8:30, Dery. So
Oh, we have
you're
to
good.
8:30?
Yeah, it's almost
Oh,
11.
we're good.
This is good stuff right here.
Let's continue the conversation. I would love to put, I know that's not, I know, wanted to share, if you wanted to share a little bit about your experience in parent engagement at the school level.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Dery, were you asking me or another parent?
You.
Me. Thanks. Yeah, so I was a part of the my daughter's high school's parent association board. I was VP for 2 years, and then I became the president for 2 years. And Dery and I kind of met when I was in my first year. And in the second year, you know, we kind of chatted a little bit, and that's when I found out she was part of FACE and, you know, parent engagements, part of the DOE. We didn't really get to connect much because there was just so much going on. There was COVID. My daughter graduated last year, so she's in her first year of college. So a lot of these things I couldn't answer because, you know, didn't apply to her anymore. But that Learning Hero website, I totally wish we had that. I kind of wish the Board of Ed would just have parents, or I'm sorry, have the teachers send it out to the parents day one, everyone, every grade. It doesn't matter how old they are. I think it's so important for the teachers to collect that information, and it should be a required engagement from between teachers and parents. So that's the first thing. So I was not very engaged in her younger years, but in high school we were part of a very competitive high school, and I didn't think I could ever be the president of a parent association there, but I did a lot of fundraising and was really involved with the community. I had great support from the teachers. We had a lot of resources from the DOE board. It was just so fulfilling. I was always in touch. My daughter didn't like that. I was in touch. She was a teen, right? You guys can guess that. And but at some point she learned to understand why I did it. I wanted to see where she was. It was my way of getting involved. I'm single mom, busy, and didn't really have time to go and mingle with other parents. Otherwise, and then when you get to high school, you don't drop your kids off, you don't pick up your kids, or some people do, some people don't. But for the most part in the city, parents don't. And I would never have met any of the parents if I wasn't on the board. And that's why I got involved, and eventually I got more involved. So I loved it. And then at the end of my tenure there, the most satisfying part was people knew who I was, even though we didn't have a lot of opportunity to be out there. We held, the best lunar fundraising event the school's ever had. We tried to host social gatherings. We held it at the Francis Tavern, which was around, my daughter went to Millennium High School, so it was around the corner from the school. So every parent was appreciative of the efforts that we were all making. We tried to have the parents connect. We tried to hear what they have to say, what they wanted the teachers to do for their kids. There was a little situation at the school, the parents rallied together, and we did make some impact, right? Our voices were heard, the voice that you're talking about, Dery, right? We wanted our voices to be heard as a parent. We were a voice for our child. We were a voice for the parents as well. So it's not just a voice for your child, you were a voice for your parents, your fellow parents. So it was a very fulfilling position to be in. So I loved it.
Sharing. And I put you on the spot because, again, there's opportunities if you want to go above. But remember, wherever your voice is critically important. But there's other ways to be involved in the parent leadership structure. And it's such an amazing and powerful way to be a part of the decision making and being that liaison for your community. So thank you for serving.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for serving.
I enjoyed it.
Anyone else want to share a story or a tip for this community and for everyone that's watching out there that really supports learning at home and just emphasizing the power of your voice?
Well, I was gonna ask if you if you did workshops with parents, like something like this, like what we're doing. Do you would you have a program where you would go from school to school, or maybe interact with other parents associations and teams to present this idea in the way that you did, so that others can even feel more comfortable or confident using it? Sending out to the parents is one thing, but there's having a full understanding is something else. And I feel like it could be beneficial bringing it to others, to the schools.
Well, thank you for saying that. I was actually in my former role. I have a new role now. I am the employee engagement director. So I do a lot of my new role, 4 weeks in, almost a month, is really supporting employee engagement strategies, but also supporting the chancellor's vision in a lot of our huge initiatives. But with that, in my former role, which I planted those seeds, is that I worked with parent coordinators in New York City. We're now called the New York Public Schools, New York City Public Schools. I find myself calling it the New York City Department, but we're the New York City Public Schools. And in my role, which I love our parent coordinator community, is that I was able to do capacity building. So we had these workshops where we partner with Learning Heroes, and we co-designed, like what you saw, the roadmap, and then really co-creating it for New York City Public Schools. So I was hoping, I had a meeting just I want to say last week, where the parent coordinators brought me back and I was a speaker, and I got to see that they were using those tools. But I think this community right here, we can be the community that continues to spread it out. Like, I'm here because the more that we know, the more that you guys can turnkey this information, because you don't have to necessarily be an expert, because you are an expert, right? You are your child's expert in education. But all that to say is that I've done workshops in the past, and I'm happy to continue as long as Rosie invites me to this space to continue sharing this information, because I love it. I love being with families. I love being with educators, to really emphasize that it's about teamwork. It's not just a one silo approach to educate a child. It really takes all of us to support that child. Anybody else? Thank you for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it back to Rosie and the team in case we have some S.O.A.R questions, because I know S.O.A.R is doing so many great things. But I'm going to be here. And if you have more questions for me, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to be here until 8:30. This is so much. I love it. And thank you to each and every one of you guys for taking the time out of your busy schedule to have this conversation on family and community engagement, and to remember, like, actually, it's just to kind of take some time to reflect that although it's a new school year, that this is a time, I feel like every school year is a brand new to start fresh and to really learn what you didn't, like what some of the lessons that you wanted to bring to your children or to those partnerships here. So it's a new season, and I am going to tell you guys that you can do it. Make those partnerships. I'm thinking about the kids that are teens. I know they're gonna drive you crazy, but that's okay. That's why we have this community. Be encouraged. I'm cheering your children on. I'm cheering you on. And I thank you, S.O.A.R, Rosie, and the entire team for inviting me here today. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Dery. Thank you so much for your time and being with us today, and just hosting this amazing engagement, this networking event. The information was definitely valuable, and we appreciate you taking that time. I'm sure it seems that everyone on here definitely enjoyed it, and got plenty out of it, myself included. I only wish that I could have probably had this resource a little sooner. One of my daughters already graduated, but not that I wasn't engaged, but just some extra is always helpful, but I think it's even something that's helpful in this space now. A lot has happened, COVID, and the kids have really changed in their mindset and how they look at school and things like that, and that brings down their morale and stuff. So having these tips and tools and resources available at this stage in their life, after COVID, not really after, because it's still here, but I think it's been just helpful. So I'd like to thank you for sharing that with us. And just thanking the parents that came on to engage with us, those on Facebook Live. Thank you for listening in. We're grateful to have you in this space with us. If anyone has anything that they'd like to share from the board or speak on at this time, if our CEO has any words.
Absolutely. I can't go without saying anything. Not that I've not already spoken enough tonight. But I just want to I just want to say kudos rather to Tiana for an amazing job facilitating this session tonight. Thank you so much for just the work and the effort put into this. I want to thank the parents for attending and participating and being engaged in this process, in this conversation, right? We can't communicate with ourselves. We can, right? But it would be better to have others communicating with us. And so it's really important that we do engage and that we feed off of each other, right? I feel like we learn a lot from each other's experiences as well as our own. So it's important that we work together. And I agree with our host. And I want to thank our team for attending tonight and for participating, and any of our other special guests on this evening. Thank you guys for attending. And last but certainly not least, I want to thank my best friend of multiple years. I won't tell you how many, because then we'll tell you our age. But since the 6th grade, let's put it that way. I say the 4th, they say the 6th. Whatever, I'll let them win. The 6th grade, we've been best friends since elementary school, and I love her to pieces. We are like sisters. We are sisters, right? We have formed a sisterhood that cannot be broken. And so I do appreciate her advice, her educational experience, right? Just being able to give us those gems and those jewels that we need as parents, right? As educators, to survive, really, right? To be able to thrive and survive in that space. Kids are hard. Jeez, I didn't know it until I had them, but you know, kids are hard. They're hard work, I tell you. And I got little ones, and so they're hard work. But I thank you for providing, you know, the tools and the resources that really are necessary for us to thrive and to be successful as parents and educators. Thank you so much, Dery Rodriguez, for taking the time out of your extremely busy schedule to be with us tonight. I couldn't thank you enough. I appreciate you so much from the bottom of my heart. You did a phenomenal job, as you always do. And I will absolutely have you back for more of these sessions because they're necessary and needed. So thank you for that. Without any further ado, unless anyone has anything else, and Tiana, I don't know if you have anything else, we do have some prizes to give away. Listen, you guys know how we do. S.O.A.R is all about giving back, right? We love giving. That's what we do. You know, we love it. And so we do have a couple of prizes, 2 gift cards to give away tonight. And how we normally do it is we give a gift card to the first registrant on the line. So whoever was the first on the line, which I'm going to have to ask either Tiana or JR for that information. And then we have like, what's that called? A waterfall little activity that we do where I'm going to ask everyone to drop. Okay, so Isabel, yeah, it's the first one. It's Chan, awesome. Isabel, thank you so much. So you have won a gift card from Amazon.
Yay!
Thank you so much. Isabel is one of our amazing parents. Her daughter went with us this past summer on a 12-day internship to Jamaica, Negril, Jamaica. And I tell you, the experience for us as educators and you know, being able to support them, you know, she's gone off to college now, but the experience, you know, was really, it was an amazing one that I don't want to say can't be topped, you know, but it really stands tall above a lot of experiences in my life. And I was so honored to have her with us for that trip. And she was such a jewel, Sierra. So Isabel, thank you so much for attending tonight, and congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And then we have our second winner. So what we're going to do is I have a number that I'm going to ask you all to drop. We're going to do like a waterfall game, and we're going to ask you to drop a number in the chat. Whoever gets the number or closest to the number will win. And I have a number between 1 and 50. So go on and drop that number in the chat. See that waterfall of numbers coming on in the chat. Let's go, let's go. Oh my. All right, let's get it. We'll do a 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Time. Oh my goodness. Funny enough, Isabel hit the number right on the head. It was exactly 13.
You know what, Rosie, please pick the next person. Thank you so much.
Okay, all right, and look at that. Thank you so much for your generosity with that. 13 was the number. That is the year we were established. I don't know that she knew that, but I'm sure she knew when we were established, but I'm sure she didn't know that that was going to be the number that we picked. Amazing. All right, so I'm going to try this one more time. So stick with the, Leon said 13.5. You don't get it, babe. Sorry. We're going to do one more time. Going to drop a number in the chat. I have it in my head. Let's go. Drop that number down in that chat. We got one more gift card to give away. We got 10 seconds. I'm starting the timer now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Time. Okay, let's see. All right, we have 11, 25, 16, 10, 42. It looks like Miss Shirley is the winner. She is the closest. The number was 20. That was the other half of the 13. So 2013 is when S.O.A.R was established. I know there's always a method to my madness. So 20 is the number, and Isabel, you were close though, 25. Yes, Miss Shirley, you got it by 4 points, or you missed it rather by 4 points. So you're the closest to the number 20. So congratulations, Miss Shirley is also one of our esteemed parents. Her son is also one of our top scholars, as was Sierra. She was our top scholar, and her son Tyrese was actually our very first top scholar when we launched the Virtual Business and Entrepreneurship Series. Tyrese was our very first top scholar. Then he made it to another round and made a top scholar with that series. And he was also one of our 9, we call them the Divine 9, who went with us to Negril, Jamaica, and he did a phenomenal job as well. So congratulations, Miss Shirley, on your win for your Amazon gift cards. I have both of your information, so I will be sending that information along to you all shortly. Congratulations to you. And then I'm going to look at that, 8:29. I'm going to hand the virtual mic back over to Tiana to close us out. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining tonight.
Thank you, Rosie. Yes, thank you everyone again for joining us tonight. This was amazing. I enjoyed myself. Thank you again to Dery Rodriguez for speaking on these amazing topics and providing these resources for us. I hope that they've come to good use and that you will make use of them in your own way with your kids. We'll be having talks like this again in the future. So please come back. Please invite someone. Look up S.O.A.R on your social media. Check us out. We're doing great things for our kids and our community. We just want to thank you all for being on the call tonight, and have a blessed night.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening.